And so I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Craig. It's been really wonderful talking to you. It's an honor to be on your podcast, and thank you so much for your generosity.
And now, the news. The NFT marketplace OpenSea caused an uproar this week when, out of the blue, it placed limits on the number of NFTs a member could mint in a given month. This is a course reversal for the platform, popular for those eager to create NFT projects that result in the minting of thousands of NFTs. There was no explanation given other than stating that the decision came after community feedback about its creator tools. The decision caught many users off guard and unprepared. The blowback was so substantial that OpenSea decided to reverse course, and only after this course reversal did the company attribute the decision to theft prevention, which seemed a little like a cop-out to the user community. There are better ways to make sure that works aren't being plagiarized. Some speculate that OpenSea is actually experiencing growing pains. The site has been crashing more frequently, and community members have been complaining about the lack of responsiveness from support. So it's possible the move was intended to turn down the fire hose while the company uses its $300 million VC war chest to create the infrastructure and hire the human resources necessary to handle demand. In episode 1 of the podcast, I spoke to artist Bo Bartlett about his life and work. In that conversation, Bo described his mentors as Ben Long, Andrew Wyeth, and Nelson Shanks. Bartlett had learned figure painting by painting alongside Shanks at his studio in Philadelphia. Well, Shanks was in the news this past week when a study he completed for a large portrait of Princess Diana far exceeded its auction estimate. The small study, comprised of just the head and shoulders, was estimated to sell for $20,000, but instead sold for $200,000. In 1994, Diana had spent more than 35 hours sitting for the portrait and developed a friendship with Shanks and his wife. The larger portrait now hangs in her ancestral home in Althorpe in Northamptonshire. Shanks was the most noteworthy portrait artist of his generation, whose commissions included popes and presidents. He passed away in 2015, age 77, after a battle with prostate cancer. Museums in some part of the world are still experiencing extended COVID shutdowns. This includes the Netherlands, where cultural institutions are still shuttered. However, the government has recently relaxed restrictions to allow certain retail venues to open back up, including salons, gyms, and brothels. The fact that salons, gyms, and brothels are open while museums remain closed hasn't sat well with the cultural elite in the Netherlands. As a humorous means of protest, all the museums in the country opened for one day last week as nail salons and yoga studios. Admission was free for those who attended, while the museum paid the professionals for their time. Luckily, no museum chose to reopen with professionals from the third category.
That's all the time we have for this week. You've been listening to Art Sense. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you've enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe, and while you're there, please rate the show and leave a quick review. Your feedback is the key to other folks finding us. If you'd like to see images related to the conversation, read a transcript, and find other bonus features, you can go to cambia.art and click on the podcast tab. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at craig@cambia.art. Thanks for listening.